So thanks so much for the leadership and the opportunity to come here. I think one of the major achievements that we can see from this government is also see how best we can have our macro model instead of relying more on the estimates from our panel all the time. So we're going to see how best our technicians can have the skill set required and the ability to score out the field of data. And we be able to manage our GDP calculation. I don't know if our partner with IMF, and the IMF decided to actually hire the firm to see how much we can go through this exercise, which have started since 2024. And now we've seen the result. This is the final section. We now have our own framework foundation that we set up. We look at all the simulations that have been done so far, and going forward, we think that from all indications, we will be able to have control over the numbers, and while at the same time doing the calibration as a country. I will want to say thank you to the IMF who are actually been directing, also assisting all of this team, also to Kim, the IMF mission chief, who actually made this part of the commitment to the company. So that's so thank you so much for coming. Then we want to President Rep, video to this team, and video if you decide about it.
Minister, good afternoon, our colleagues. Good afternoon to all of you, and we really appreciate having you here to benefit from this course that is being done by this incredible team. This is the third time they are coming here, and we will say that we are privileged to be able to support it. And what they are doing is really presenting to you what the IMF country team is using, in producing the framework that is being used, not only in the context of the IMF program, but in surveillance arrangement. So it's really to help you to take ownership of this, the macro framework, and also help to have a more fruitful engagement with the country team, because you know the methodology they are using. You have ownership of the data, so you can have that very fruitful engagement. And we really appreciate the very large turnout from the authority side, which gives a sense that you are really very interested in taking ownership of this modeling. And we believe that it's been a very good opportunity to also showcase how we do it, and hopefully it can help us in our engagement in the future. This is not going to stop here, I believe, because the interaction will continue, and even when the mission team comes, we'll also use the opportunity to show them what we have learned in this process. Let me stop here for now. I'll turn over to the head of the mission, and then we'll continue.
Thank you very much. Well, it will not take much time. It is a privilege to have you here, and by coming here, you show the leadership necessary to tell the team how much you appreciate their work, and this is a testimony of your leadership today. So we thank you for that very, very exemplary. Thank you. Second point. We will not take much time of your agenda. We know that time is of the essence for your life, but so only 16 minutes of the presentation that your team will do. And third, you will see what they are capable of, basically, and how you can use this work going forward. That's it. Thank you very much.
You can just do 2 minutes to feel the slap the way you have a good water meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, so go. Okay, so go ahead. Thanks so much, Minister, and to senior management and to our colleagues and to the IMF team. I think it's a privilege to do this. So over the period, we've been able to work on the NFT, and just will help me with the next slide. So this more of the general context of it, in terms of the design and the structure. So it's basically the simplified version of Excel, and it deals with the full physics sector, the external, the fiscal, the monetary. And the next one, when it comes to the structure, we also look at the block context of it. So we have like 3 major blocks. How do we do real GDP, expenditure, and government inflation? And we have block 2 that talk about the export and out of the import. How does it fit into the balance of payment? And the next one do with fiscal and monetary policy assumptions. So this one to do with the structural context of the Excel file is more of 6 different sheets. So you have the source data, which we use to import information. The next one to do with GDP and other prices. We want to do projection for real GDP. Deficit and other financing will have a projection of nominal GDP, unlike the GDP and price that will do real GDP projection. For policy and assumptions, we look at the fiscal and other monetary sector. And this one, this is the equilibrium aspect of it. So we do a system-wide consistency check to make sure that each information that is put in one of the files is able to link with the other file. So we have, how is it kind of useful to policymakers, especially in this room? And yeah, we've had time. So this is the 5 major behavioral equations we use for the projection. The real private consumption, the real private investment, real export, real import. And it's also important to let you know that we had a meeting not too long in Kampala, and we linked this to that of the NTFF. And we also had some discussion around the debt policy aspect of it. So it's a whole big tool that we're going to be using for. Thanks so much for this time, and I think it's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much for that presentation. So we have used the MFT, the macro framework tool, to make some preliminary projection. And the MFT is an instrument that we have now during the discourse of the IMF. They incorporate baseline and alternative scenario. But these are other data issues. For the sake of time, TH have presented on this one. So we look at projection, and we see that private sector drives growth in 2025. If you look on our screen, we have for 2025, we see our projection is 5.1, and then each is driven by private consumption, and then we have public investment. We also see our growth at 3.0, but we kind of look at closing the gap over our real GDP versus potential GDP. And one thing that's really key here, pointing out, is the first time that we've been able to do calculation on potential GDP, and then comparing that. So we see in the long run our real GDP will converge with that of our potential GDP, setting our economy at equilibrium. So you see we have the positive there. So we also look at fiscal surplus, we have a baseline, we have our fiscal imports. All right, so this is a scenario that we did, but for the sake of time, we can pause here and then turn over.
So thank you for the presentation, Minister. There we are, one of the plan of one time to go in what you can expose into the Excel tools. When we go in there, we see high happen. This is the first time this year to do the comparison. So what you use it to also modify the Excel which I published document. The promise is that April of this will produce a military perspective of the budget and setting budget or set by the foundation to strengthen our operating process.
Well, thank you very much.
Joel, the IMF personal representative, and our colleagues who were hired for this process. Deputy Minister Zuo, Assistant Minister Nankwa, and the team of top-level technocrats from MFDP, Legis. I want to say that I'm very happy that you build the capacity, IMF, of our team. It's been a period of good hand holding. You know, we always talk about sustainability. How do you sustain development? We sustain development if externals that come to build capacity would reduce our dependence on them. And it is tricky because their success is measured on how quickly or how effectively they make themselves redundant, how quickly they take themselves out of a job so that Liberians can take the job. So it's kind of tricky, you know. Your success is measured by how quickly you make yourself redundant, you make yourself, you know, less needed, so that our people can do for us what they need to do for us. So it takes some level of, you know, it's unselfishness, because technically you're working against yourself, and nature says that the first law of nature, self-preservation. So when I say thanks, I mean thanks, because you've come so that we can do for ourselves what we need to do for ourselves. And there will always be need for professionals. Our professionals will always contact you, and there will be a period a period of hand-holding. But besides that, in this professional network, you know, we want a situation where some of them can also join you, go international, build capacity in other places, and be on the team to go to other countries. So I know that will be a point of pride. So Joel and the team, please extend on our behalf our immense appreciation to Kim, the mission chief, and through him to the entire IMF family. And let me thank you know, the Department of Economic Management and our other colleagues from Legis. I usually call them our book people. Our book people. And these, when you call yourself a columnist, and I like what he did, Otis, you know, when he went to the graph on the equations, you saw all the formula. But then anyone sees that these are the book people. They did it deliberately. Did it deliberately. But I say this to say that there are a lot of things we as a government can do for civil servants. Everybody looks at just what you do for pay. But what we do for empowerment, skills, what do you learn? And when you came in at this level, after some time, how weighted you are professionally, how knowledgeable you are professionally. All of you should count yourself blessed who have been part of this training program to benefit from the brilliance of colleagues like this. You know, I know you feel yourself stronger. Knowledge gives power. You're more powerful, right? Yeah, you waiting. You walk in the building, there's some force of gravity on you now. And so, I will continue to connect with you, and not just speeches. We'll do what we can do to make you to remain with us. Because one thing to capacitate people, but you have to retain them. And to retain them, you cannot just retain them through speeches. you know, or expecting a better afterward. So some of them are religious, but we do what we can do. I want to say I'm proud of all of you that have gone through this program, and that we want you to do your work with integrity. That we will be doing it, it doesn't mean that we should forge figures or to do things not to be credible. Credibility is key in this work. The truth is the truth. The essence is see yourself as a doctor. As a doctor that, or, you know, the lab. When you are sick, or you say you are sick, you go and do a lab test. See yourself as the lab technician in the hospital. You know, the doctor relies on the lab technician to be able to diagnose effectively. If the lab technician gives false test result, think about the kind of prescription the doctor will give. It will be false. It will be misaligned, and that patient will die. So you don't want to give. You don't want to say that a person that has a chronic disease just has a common headache. You may think that it's good, but at the end of the day, the doctor will not prescribe the medication for that disease. So the integrity of your work should lead you professionally to say the truth. We're not here to hide stuff. We're here to act based on what we see, and that your economists, you know, do your job professionally, credibly, and we'll give all the support we can give. So again, thanks for distinguishing yourself, and we'll give all the support we can give. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.
We are having started tonight. And then Amadou and his team guy give for him. So Amadou, before we go through that, so you have a gift. Now Amadou has prepared for you our own Liberian way of saying thank you for the time you spent with us, so we can remember, you can wear. Where's the dog? Get one.